Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with Daily Technical Update. It is Thursday the 13th of November, and as usual this video is for educational purpose only. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended. It's purely to demonstrate how I try to read the market using technical analysis and my experience with 30 years of trading and doing technical analysis. So let's get cracking. Let's have a look at Microsoft that has formed what could be a double top like pattern here over several months. You can see it clearly here on the weekly chart. So 429 is the key support. If it takes out that, will it close below? Well, then we could see a push down to, and we can actually calculate that because or estimate that because adding a Fibonacci to it, well, at least 468. But probably lower in the region around 454 and 445 here down here. We could see that if that scenario plays out, but we're not there yet. It needs to close below. We actually had a bottom reversal pattern here, so we maybe could see it crawling higher here in the coming weeks. And if it moves back above the cloud, then it's probably not gonna play out. Moving on to the overall markets, and let's just have a look at S&P 500 to begin with. It was more or less unchanged yesterday. It didn't really move much. Once again, it's still in a bullish trend. It is a little bit stressed, as you can see the RSI value is declining here, but the bullish trend is intact. Moving on to Nasdaq, that was also basically unchanged after opening higher yesterday, and it is still in this bullish trend here. Also divergence, as you can see here, RSI declining, market moved higher, but it's still holding on. So let's see if this support here around 25,142 will be challenged once again, but it really needs to get below 24,186. Dow Jones, on the other hand, new all-time high and new all-time high close, primarily driven by financials and a few semis and pharma. The past week or so has been driving the market higher, and yesterday it was again the semiconductors that outperformed, but it was also especially in the healthcare business, pharma business that was running the show, and especially financial for when we are talking about Dow Jones. So let's have a look at what's happening, or what seems to be happening here pre-market. We have here pre-market Nasdaq really not doing much. Just dancing on the spot, really. They're just around the 61.8 retracement of this correction there. Moving on to Russell 2000, the small cap index. Key support still there, 237.5. It is the ETF I'm using here, the ICS Russell 2000 small cap ETF. In Asian market, higher this morning. And we could possibly see next week the previous peak there being challenged, 27,382. RSI back above 60 threshold, indicating likely higher levels, and we can see the same, more or less the same picture here on the RSI. We could see higher levels on Hang Seng in the coming weeks. Nikkei basically unchanged, so very stretched there, but still the bullish trend is intact. It is stretched, as you can see. There is imbalance in the market. There is imbalance with the RSI. So let's see if it can push up and make a new all-time high. Seems like we are just trading rain bounce there for a while. If it takes out the spike down there, and we have to remember this is the future. It's not the cash index. Let's remove this one. So this is the range here, really big range, in fact 49,125 and 52,695. In Europe, EuroStoxx50 really strong yesterday. Banks were running a show primarily, but there were also other sectors moving. The automobile industry also very strong, and we reached the 138.2 projection of this correction here yesterday at 5,800. Pre-market basically unchanged, but with a positive undertone. Maybe we could see a little bit of a setback, a little bit of a profit taking towards the end of the week. Let's see about that. We're not there yet. It is a fairly strong move indeed, and as we can see here on the weekly, it actually supports. It seems like we are pushing higher on EuroStoxx, despite we will face some minor corrections, of course. And finally, DAX caught up a little bit with a jump yesterday. It was also, especially the banks here and the automobile industry, primarily driven this, and we are back above 24,340, establishing a bullish trend. It is not just confirmed by the RSI, but I think it will be that possibly today or tomorrow, and we could see a push higher unless it closes this gap here. But even if it closes this gap, we will just basically be in neutral position, and we can see 55 moving average coming around. So next week, if it can keep itself up here, then I think 55 will break above 100, and they're both rising, which supports the underlying slightly bullish tone. Pre-market here, just up a tad, but I think the overall bullish mood will continue. Euro dollar, as we talked about, it could break this falling trend line and push up to the 786 retracement, maybe even up to the area around the 55 and 100 moving average and the lower part of cloud, where we have some resistance, fairly strong resistance here around 116.70 level. Could also stop at the 786 retracement, 116 and a quarter. Let's see about that maybe later today or tomorrow. Then we are a little bit wiser. If it starts sliding back below the falling trend line, then downtrend is likely to resume. The sterling dollar that got rejected at 38.2, so now it's a little bit of a limbo. So it either needs to take out that little spike up there at 131.91, so I would say 132. If it takes out that, then we could see a push up to around 133. Otherwise, it should slide lower. Negative sentiment on the RSI is likely to push it lower here in the coming weeks. But let's see, we have the moving averages coming down there, so the underlying sentiment is bearish. Euro sterling slowly crawling higher. Also this morning here, I still believe we will see 88.50, and there could be room up to 88.70, 80 level, possibly all the way up to 89. It will take some time, but it seems that's the way we are pushing with the higher highs and higher lows and higher highs. On the yen pairs, dollar yen, well, just tested 155 yesterday and also this morning here. Can it really take off, or is it forming this rising wedge-like pattern there in this bullish trend? RSI has actually moved back above, slightly just above its falling trend line. So there should be a further upside potential. We can see here on weekly, I wouldn't say clear blue skies, but it is in a bullish trend, and sentiment on the RSI is also pointing to higher levels. There's no divergence. So medium to longer term, medium to going into the rest of the year, maybe early next year, we could see dollar yen in the region around 157, 158, maybe even higher in this around these levels there. But there is some really strong resistance around current levels. Euro yen also pushing higher. 180 is likely to be tested today. Could push higher. You can see RSI above its falling trend line, supporting the bullish break here. And I think we could see it pushing higher in the coming days and weeks towards 181. And it's actually levels not seen since the 1990s. We have to go back all the way to the 1990s. I just checked before I went on to this video here. So there is really not much resistance of what we are looking at the moment. So it seems like that's where we are headed for Euro yen. On the Aussie yen, more or less the same picture, pushing higher here. 102 being reached fairly soon, I believe. RSI also breaking above its falling trend line, supporting the bullish mood. or the bullish move here, and I think we could see it pushing higher here also in the coming days and weeks towards 102.40. Possibly, I think it will take it out. To be honest, I think it will push higher. RSI is supporting that. Underlying moving average is supporting that. So the trend seems fairly strong. Sterling yen lacking a little bit, of course, due to the sterling possibly, but lagging a little bit. Still, I think we could see it crawling higher, especially if we get RSI back above the 60 threshold here now. So that's what to keep an eye on. And we have this spike up there that is 204.25. That is the next obstacle. But we are seems to be we are reversing this. There was a correction here, lower low, lower highs, and so on. If it takes out that level, then we have reversed the trend. Aussie dollar, really strong move here, early morning in Asian session, and pushing higher above the 100 and the 55 moving average, and I think we will fairly soon here this morning we'll reach the 786 retracement here at 65.83, and could possibly push higher if RSI also pushes above 60 threshold. So if we get a close up, then we will see a move up to around 66.30 resistance area up here. So maybe it will break this bigger range trading behavior here with a bullish move. Dollar Canada still in a correction phase, sliding lower, and I think it could dip all the way down to around the 200 moving average and the 139.40, which is the 786 retracement. Then I think we will see a bounce. Technically, it could see a bounce, and it should see a bounce and then push higher in the coming weeks. But for now, I want confirmation. I want to see it turning around, and I haven't seen that just yet. I need a bottom reversal pattern. Sterling Canada, this wide range here, 185.50 and 183.20. It needs to break out. I think it will to the downside. We can see all moving average declining, and we have broken this long, medium term to longer term bullish trend. So it's just a time. I think it's just a question of time before it pushes lower. But be aware, it can still be range bound here for quite some time. Euro-Swiss, as we talked about past few days, that the correction was over. We were setting back, and yesterday took out the support at 92.55 and pushing lower to the 786 retracement, bouncing a little bit. We could bounce back above it actually. We could, but if it takes out the lows from yesterday, well, then expect the 92 level to come under pressure. But expect a little bit of a bounce here, maybe to 92.75, 80 level. Dollar Swiss, also pushing lower, and actually currently below the cloud and around the 786 retracement here. So that will be key the next few days. So the question is, should I have measured it from here? Possibly, because that actually makes more sense. I don't know why it was there, but it should be there. We actually are around the 61.8 retracement there, 79.66. Could bounce on it, but could also dip to the 786 and stronger support there. Key question is, will RSI be bouncing from the 60 threshold and then bounce up here, or will it actually move below and close below? Then we will have a bearish indication. So a little bit of a pivot point, or key levels here at the moment to watch. Dollar index still trading around these 99.30. I do believe maybe you could see a dip a little bit lower here in a correction, because this 200 moving average giving a pressure to the downside, and I think we could see euro dollar, as we talked about earlier, bouncing a little bit higher. So maybe we could see the dollar index down to 99. I'm not quite sure we will get it down to the 61.8 here at 98.73, but a dip down there and then a bounce is definitely possible. Gold is pushing higher, and I think we will see 42.75 fairly soon. And medium term, I think we will see new all-time highs on the gold metal here. Fairly strong bounce indeed. We are back in the bullish sentiment. Well, positive sentiment. We have been there all the time, but now it's confirmed by moving back above 60 threshold, and it's being dragged higher by silver. That's really on fire and very close to take out the previous peak there and I think it will do that. Maybe a little bit of a setback and then a push higher, so fairly strong on silver. Platinum still lacking a little bit, but starting to catch up. And I think we could see 1650, 1662 resistance here being tested, maybe before the weekend, maybe next week. We are still in the bigger range here, but we could also argue this is kind of a double bottom here. It's not the best one because you should have a trend here. So, but still strong support down there. Copper also moving slowly higher again, bouncing higher, and I think we will see it crawling slowly higher towards the resistance area here in the region around 528. We are above the cloud. We are still positive sentiment despite a little bit of divergence. If it can close back above 60 threshold, it will do that before it breaks higher. That will support the bullish scenario on copper. Oil got hammered yesterday. It's trying to bounce up there. Now it got hammered down here, and I think we will see it pushing lower here in the coming days and weeks, which is quite interesting when we are reaching winter. But apparently that is not a big thing there really. So it's still in this bearish correction here, and well, actually resumed bearish trend after this correction there. Negative sentiment on the RSI indicating lower levels. Same picture on Brent Crude, of course, hovering around the 61.8 retracement there. So I think we will see it pushing lower in the coming days and weeks. European nat gas, it's still 30 spot 73 key support. If it takes out, well, then 30 euros could come under pressure. The US nat gas, will it form once again a top and reversal pattern, but it's still up in the air, but you can see RSI starting to fall over. So the uptrend seems to be fading a little bit, at least the strength of it, and we could see a correction down to maybe 4.15, maybe even $4, but I'm not quite sure about that. And let's see. It's still up. The jury's still out if this will be indeed a top and reversal pattern in the form of doji evening like candle here. So moving on to the yields market and or the interest rates. US 10, basically same story as the past few days, 405 and 416. Well, in reality, it's 420. That's the really key strong resistance there. So still range bound here with a slightly bearish undertone. So I think we could see it sliding lower, but keep an eye on it if you're trading yields, but in general also for other trading. European, basically nothing since it was rejected there up at 270, so now it's just humming sideways here below the 55 moving average. Could sit back a little bit, still negative sentiment on the RSI, so we could see it sliding back to around 260. UK, well, it's still the 437 down there, that is key support. The Japanese, not much to say. It got rejected there yesterday at the 171 resistance peak there. We are still in a bullish trend, so if it takes it out, well, then we are looking at 175. Finally, on Bitcoin, range bound here, past few days, 98,800 and 107,000 and around 500. That's the way to break out. But we are in a bearish trend, as you can see, so the breakout could be to the downside with a selling of down to 95. If it takes it out, let's see about that. It could just also humming away here. Doesn't really want know what it wants. So more or less the same picture here on Ethereum. Bearish trend, as you can see. Will it continue lower to the region around 2600? That is the question if it takes out the 3055 support there. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day, have a trading, and be careful out there. It is volatile all across the board. Talk to you again tomorrow.